Los Tiburones pierden a los Isleños 3-1 en la noche de la Herencia Hispania. Bienvenido a Teal Town después del anochecer. Soy Eric Cura. Puedes seguirme en Puckguy 14 en Twitter. Y dado que estoy ejecutando el programa, puedes unirte a la conversation. No, no.
Ay, mierda, chupa mi verga.
Ay, Dios mío.
If if you want to be a part of the show, and hopefully you do after that intro, my Spanish is really bad. Chat with us in the YouTube chat or the app. Otherwise, you can always hit us on the Twitter machine with the hashtag TealTownUSA, and of course, follow us on Twitter at TealTownUSA, along with Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, and YouTube. It's been a while since I posted one of these. Hi again, everybody. I'm Eric Curl. You can follow me on Twitter at Puckguy14, and joining us tonight is AJ Strong.
Dude, the chat already lighting you up, dude. Fucking gringo. Oh, sorry. I'm just saying what the chat said. That wasn't me. But Chris, gringos, Gen X. Oh, God, Eric, just stop. Chris, back effing putas. I'm just saying you've opened a can of worms, and probably a lot of it has to do with the fact that you have no lower third now. But it was just fantastic.
You didn't open up a can of refried beans.
With orange sauce.
Orange sauce. And joining us, the lovely and talented Rocket Backhander.
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
Oh, really? Already?
It's been a month. Come on, I'm a quick study.
She's getting used to it, and we still love her for it. All right, so let's jump right into this. It was Hispanic Heritage Night at the Shark Tank. They dropped the puck with Mark Purdy and the designer. What was his? Jesse Hernandez, was it?
Nobody cares, pendejo.
You know what was funny is that they pulled the same thing that they pulled with me when I dropped the puck before the Barracuda game. They literally forgot to give me a puck before I went out there. So I'm glad to see the tradition continues. Anywho, the Sharks lose this one 3-1. It was a come-from-behind victory for the Islanders.
That was really good because Mark Purdy was looking around going, like, what kind of Mickey Mouse operation you guys running here?
He said he would be a consultant when we talked to him during the summertime.
No, I thought it was great. I mean, we talked to him. We did an interview with Mark Purdy over the summer, and I mean, if you haven't heard it, please, SoundCloud, YouTube. Go back in the archives and look at it. It's only a couple months old. He told some amazing stories, but the fact that we had brought up that we're like, did they at least give you a Los Tiburones jersey when they gave out one last season? And he's like, he goes, yeah, I think they put one aside for me or whatever. And then he wasn't even aware that they were doing it again this season when we brought it up to him. And then, of course, he ends up dropping the ceremonial puck. So that was great.
Yeah. and like Gen X says in the chat, dude, Mickey Mouse runs Anaheim, SAP runs Shorts. Yikes. Nonetheless, make sure you subscribe, or in tonight's keeping with the theme, por favor, suscríbete. See, I got that right.
Mierda.
Oh, shut up. All right, let's get to this game now. First period.
Uno más cerveza.
Speaking of mierda.
First period. Kevin LeBanc on the power play. The Sharks go 1-for-1 on their lone power play opportunity. 4-16. Los Tiburones is up 1-0. What did you think of the power play goal, Miss Backhander?
Kevin LeBanc doing Kevin LeBanc things. I think it's a strong start for this kid to. I mean, he looks great. Let's just be honest here. But who doesn't look great when you put him with the Joes? So, I mean, it's a natural fit for the kid. If they want to make him look good and pump him up and then trade him off to whoever, that's great. And if they want to keep him around because he's the real deal, that's good too. So, in either scenario, I think the Sharks are doing good things with him. and he continues to impress on power play goals such as Wes scored.
Yep. And it was a quick power play. And AJ, I want to say, he looks really comfortable quarterbacking that second unit out there.
I'm more than fine with it. The thing that I love tonight is the fact that DeBoer started the power play with the second unit. To me, that was kind of a little bit of a, hey, big boys, you're not getting it done.
Well, they also had the delayed penalty for a while too, so the talking
IDGAF, baby.
Because facts are just, you can cherry pick those all you want.
Hey, I'm surprised DeBoer didn't take a timeout. It's not like he doesn't have a habit.
Hey-oh. Jeez. So later in the period, Anders Lee with 2:58 to go in the first from Jordan Eberle and Pellick ties the game up at 1. I thought the Sharks still had a pretty good first period there, AJ, where they seemed to have the Islanders on the heels. They outshot them 12-9 in the period, and just were sticking to them. And then, of course, you have that one goal that kind of just throws them off a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, I'll give it up to LeBanc, man. That was a snipe shot. I mean, it was a fantastic shot. I wish they would have gotten a few more, but no, Banker had a great shot, and I don't know that we can at this point, after what are we 5 games now? I don't know that we can, put it in concrete that he needs to remain up with the Joes, but he's certainly making a case for himself. So I'm more than fine with that. And you know what, though? It's so funny. Just a quick mention on the chat is that, Laurel has given me props where it's like, hey, background looks better, and I don't have the little wall off to the side that gives her OCD, but you know what? I'm getting OCD now because you don't have the banner totally taking up your background.
I apologize for that. What's happening here is the dog sitter is on vacation at this time, so the puppies are in the way, so I apologize for that. Rocket, what did you take from the first period?
Boy, there was a whole lot of speed in the first period, and I don't mean, the illegal kind. This was totally illegal on the ice, and it looked fantastic. I was hoping that they would be able to keep up this momentum, not in the second period, because as we know, the Sharks never play 3 periods. It's always first and third, and the second period's usually they went for coffee and they had to take a leak or whatever. But this was so good. This looked like a markedly different team than the 2 teams that came out the 2 games before, opening night and then against the Kings. Like they had fire in their step, they had determination, they had confidence in themselves and their partners, and it showed. Lots of speed, lots of young legs out there, and it seemed to bolster the veteran presence. It felt like this team was finally on the right track, and like Chris said earlier, that they were playing the right game. It didn't have the right result, but finally the Sharks are finding their right game, and I think this period was indicative of that for sure.
It was a little bit of puck luck victimization tonight.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, and Rocky, you hit it right on the head. What I was going to say about it, they seem to be full of spunk. They were on the run and going, and they seemed like they were playing their game towards the Islanders. So that I thought they looked really good. Then the second period came in, and Brock Nelson puts the Islanders up 2-1 about 6:27 into the second period on a broken down play that saw Ryan Carpenter give a hit, and it almost looked like they were going to stop play because somebody wanted to, you hit somebody, we got to beat the crap out of you now.
That was a good hit too.
It was a good hit. It looked clean and solid. But that breakdown ended up giving Nelson his 3rd of the season. Eventually turns out to be the game winner from Ho-Sang and Dahan. Like they said on the broadcast, no relation to Randy. 2-1. The Sharks outshot the Islanders 13-10 in that period. Second period thoughts, AJ?
Well, I mean, the Sharks took their eye off the ball after some rough stuff on that second goal. I mean, it was clear that they thought a penalty was going to get called, and they stopped playing, and they just got flat-footed, and then Nelson just put it in behind him. I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of liken it to a football team where it's kind of like you don't stop playing until you hear the whistle. And the Sharks, they just stopped playing on that second goal because clearly they thought a penalty was coming in, but nobody ever blew a whistle.
You're buzzing a little bit. Rocket, second period thoughts. Did the Islanders kind of just take over from there, or were the Sharks still in it in your mind?
I think the Sharks are still, like I said, second period is generally not the strongest period in the Sharks game for whatever reason. Pete just plays it that way. I didn't feel that there was too much of a difference, except maybe a downtick in speed. And I think as the Sharks kind of let their foot off the gas, the Islanders took advantage of it and finally found their game. They found a couple of really good, strong cycles and just really controlled the neutral zone in a couple of spots. Really unfortunate turnovers here and there by different Sharks. And, the Islanders just cashed in, really.
Yep, and they took advantage of it all and made it 2-1. They would add an empty netter in the third period, but in the third period, the Sharks really dominated the play, but then they kind of, I don't know, like you said, Rocket, they kind of took their foot off the gas, and when they had an empty net to go with 2 minutes to go, they just didn't seem as crisp as they were in the first period.
Do you know what the hits were? Maybe they just got the crap knocked out of them.
The hits were 27-16 in favor of the Islanders.
Yeah, that's not enough. That's not going to knock the crap out of you. I mean, this is one of those games, if you look at it, the Sharks pretty much won every battle that you would normally need to win in order to win a game. They won special teams. The Sharks, they got one power play. It would have been nice if they would have got more, but they got one power play. They scored on it. Maybe they need to move their feet a little bit more, try to do a little bit more to draw another power play, but 1-for-1, and they gave up 3 power plays to the Islanders, but they killed all 3 of them. Now, let's talk about the Islanders' power play for a second. It's, at this point, 0-for-19 or something? I mean, it's ridiculously horrible, so you don't want to get too up on that stat, but either way, the Sharks won the special teams battle up there. They won the circle by a significant amount, 65-35. And you guys have heard me talk about winning. You don't have to win all the face-offs, but at least win those key ones. And so they won all the stats there. They outshot the Islanders 15-3 in the third period. Overall, outshot them 41-23. I mean, and when you win the circle almost 2-1, I mean, if you look at every stat on here, it almost screams like this should be a Sharks win, with the exception of the scoreboard. And you're going to have games like this. It's going to happen.
Sleepy Mofo in the chat saying, at least Barzal didn't score his first NHL goal. At least that's different from last year's Sharks team. And this is very, very true.
Very good point, Sleepy Mofo. Very, very good point. You're getting some love in the chat with your setup there, Rocket. Laurel was saying, one snazzy nook you got going here. Oh, and the hair looks great too. Let's see. Sleepy Mofo also was saying, some interesting stuff there. Let's see. Jessica brings up one of the points that happened during the game. Damn, seeing Pavs break the stick low key broke my heart because for him, that frustrated is killer, especially only this few games in. And that's the thing, guys. Pavs is struggling a little bit more. Burnsy doesn't have his first on the year.
Well, think about it, dude. The big money guys, Burns, Vlasic, Thornton, all of them, donut on the points. Donut. And Burns leading the team. Room for frustration.
Mm-hmm.
A little AOL action there.
Yeah, and I think it's affecting all of us tonight for some reason. But let's see. Going through the chat here, Alex Martinet, which we'll get you on soon, my friend. Burns just gave the most depressing post-game interview that I've seen. And we've seen Bernstein, he's usually hyped up. So I don't know what in the world's going on, but it's I mean, it's only they're only 1-3. And this is the 5th time the team has been 1-3 in their history. They've made the playoffs one time out of those previous 4 chances that they started 1-3. So it's quite interesting how this team is going. Jay in the chat. No threat whatsoever off the rush. Both Joes are slow and ineffective. Couture may even be too slow at this point. Time to start taking a hard look in the mirror for this team.
We're 4 games into the season. Fire everyone. It's time for the rebuild.
He does make some points that you are kind of seeing their age a little bit, but yeah, it is 4 games in.
Logan spent most of the night shutting down Jonathan Tavares. That's why he wasn't outscoring all the points. I'm sorry Logan couldn't do everything for you.
That's really odd that you would spend that much time shutting down a guy who was on your team. Or, I mean, will eventually be on your team.
Maybe he's just getting to know him a little bit, trying to talk him up. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Hey, get used to being around me. Hey, we're going to be benchmates soon. Hey. You like my teeth? My dentist? You're going to be in San Jose soon. Hey. All night long. That's why.
I'm telling you, Couture's looking at Tavares. Yeah, don't fall for that Pizza Factory BS. I'll tell you where their good stuff is. Kidding.
In Santana Row, yes. Couture played 16-32 tonight, as opposed to Tavares, who played 20-36. Holy crap, 20-36 for a forward. That's crazy.
Future Shark,
Sean Tavares. We hope. All right. So overall thoughts, AJ, what did you take from tonight? AJ
Dallin, you muted.
Sorry. See, I'm trying to be nice. I don't want to talk over everybody. But no, I take it that we didn't win. No, we. I'm going to kind of echo Chris a little bit here in the chat. The Sharks, for the most part, they played a pretty good game. Maybe during the offseason, Dell sold his ownership in the Isles. I don't know. Prior to this game, he had pretty much owned the Islanders, but the Sharks, to me, for the most part, this is a game. Again, I go back to those stats that I called off earlier. The Sharks, most of the time, 8 times out of 10, they're going to win this game. And there was just... You look at both of those goals that the Isles scored. Obviously, we're not talking about the empty netter. But, I mean, Vlasic and Braun basically get beat behind them. They didn't have their... trademark Drew Remenda did not have their head on a swivel and had, guys sneaking in behind them. And they weren't aware. This is one of those. This is a 4th game of the season. This is you got to work out a few wrinkles and everything like that. And let's talk about that just for 1 second. 4th game of the season. No need to blow up the franchise. Up until like a day ago or whatever, there was a team who's brand new and had never lost a game. Are we giving them the Stanley Cup and saying that they're going 82-0 this season, even though this is their first year in the league? So let's everybody, take a snapshot of what the standings are today, and then let's take a snapshot of it come Martin Luther King Day or somewhere in that realm, and then see where we're at. They'll dial it together. But there are a couple things though that weighed on me a little bit. I thought it was interesting, and I swear to God, I am not trying to poke the bear, but I did find it a little interesting that Dylan was at the bottom of the totem pole for ice time for defensemen. I also found it a little interesting that I mean, holy crap! Did the line blender get going in the third period? Dudes, aside from the top line, everybody else just moving all over the place. Clearly, DeBoer trying to either reward guys, look for chemistry, poke guys with sticks, and they just couldn't find it. But again, I just go back to the case of, it's like, okay, you got out hit 27-16, fine, but you won the circle almost 2-1. You killed it in special teams. This is something to build on. And the young guys look great. The only thing that kind of sits with me a little bit, let's see those big money guys get going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I was trying to catch some of what PDB was saying right now. He liked that they kind of fixed some things in their game through the first 3 games, but they just have to keep staying with it.
How do you feel about the scratches? I mean, DeMello sitting for 2, Ward sitting for 2. What do you think about those?
Rocket, you want to start yourself with that first, or?
Sure. I think it's as much of we give Pete grief for throwing the line blender. Maybe this is part of his non-blendery thing to see if maybe he can perform addition by subtraction, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
DeMello, I don't think that he is a bad player at all, but I don't think he fits well with Pete's system. And I don't think he's a good partner for Brendan Dillon. I'm not saying anything bad about either one of them. They're just not good dance partners. The problem with that is DeMello's not the best dance partner with, anyone else on the team either. So even though he was a great fit for the guys in the Barracuda, maybe he can be great on some other team, but I don't think he's got a future here in San Jose. Not with Pete DeBoer's system. I don't really know about Joel, but that's what I think about Mr. DeMello.
Yeah, it to me, I think he's played fairly decent. Same with Joachim Ryan, filling in for the injured Paul Martin.
No, Wookiee whispering shoes are some pretty big shoes to fill.
Oh, absolutely.
This is true.
As big as the beard that Paul Martin magically grew over the offseason.
Yeah. Well, and that was the funny thing that Burns, I believe, pointed out during a meet with one of the guys in the press, saying they asked him what he thought about Ryan, and he said, "Oh, he's good. He just, he needs to work on his beard game, but other than that, he's fine."
Oh, no pressure, Joachim. No pressure at all. Yeah. So the Sharks lose 3-1 to the Islanders. They are now 1-3. They're already starting some trade chat in there. Skylar Greenberg saying maybe trade DeMello for a draft pick, 4th or 5th rounder, which is interesting because the Sharks only have 1 pick in the first 3 rounds of the draft next year. But not to get ahead of ourselves that far. Let's I guess go around the league.
Well, hold on. Can we talk about like the young guys so far?
Sure.
From what we've seen. I mean, I'm not the only one, right? That over 4 games now again, and let's just throw out our favorite phrase: small sample size, but 4 games, but who also did have a fantastic camp. I'm really impressed with the way Kevin Labanc has come into this season so far. I mean, those are big shoes to fill up on that top line to play with, a definitive Hall of Famer, a potential Hall of Famer. I mean, those are some big shoes to fill. I like Labanc's game at this point. He wants to get dirty. He wants to find the open spots. Very happy with Labanc. I'm pretty damn happy with Meyer. I got to be honest with you right now, and this is just my point of view. So don't at me, don't kill me in the chat. I'm just saying from my perspective, I'm right now loving Labanc and Meyer a lot more than Donskoy and Bodker. And we all know that I'm not the biggest Bodker fan. And I wasn't the only one who was not a Bodker fan on Twitter tonight. And I'm talking about people that have a lot more background in hockey than I do. Wasn't Bodker's best game. Did get a little demotion tonight, but I'm I am really liking what the young kids are bringing. Let's see, again, 4 games. Let's see where we're at in 20 games and Doug Wilson having almost $6 million to play with.
Paging Mr. Tavares.
Touching.
With that, as we welcome those of you who've been watching Brody and Curtis on NBC Sports California, we welcome you to Teal Town After Dark. I am Erica alongside Rocket Backhander and AJ Strong. By all means, make sure you hit the subscribe down below and make sure you follow us on all of our social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud. You get the idea. We appreciate your viewership and we appreciate your subscribing throughout there. But as we go onward, we'll play a game that Rob put up, Fact or Fiction. Yannick Hansen sits on Tuesday. I'll start with Rocket.
Ooh.
Fiction.
Fiction. All right. Mr. Strong.
I kind of lean fiction too, because what are you going to put in this place? So that's where I kind of lean to. I mean, maybe you drop Hansen for Ward. I mean, really, that's kind of like dropping a quarter to pick up 2 dimes and a nickel at this point. So, no, I think it's fiction. But I do want to touch really quickly on James Abel's comment in the chat. Philadelphia, LA, Buffalo, the Isles, not exactly NHL powerhouses at this point. And that does bring up a point, but you also look at history. The Sharks have not fared well against the Kings over the last few years. They definitely haven't fared well against Buffalo over the last few years. Yes, the Isles, yes, the Isles. Yes, I'll give you that. So, anyway, just wanted to drop that in. But, yes, I concur. Do you have another game with Fact or Fiction? Because that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I will have a Fact or Fiction, but I'll have you guys take a guess as to who has more points than Couture, Hurdle, Thornton, Burns, Pavelski, Vlasic, and DeMello.
Ovechkin?
Dylan.
Ding, ding, ding. Brendan Dillon has more points than Joe Thornton Pavelski.
Me.
and you know what? And what makes that far more impressive, again, as I go back to the amount of ice time he's getting versus the guys you named off.
Exactly.
Well, maybe if he weren't out there on the ice at all, other people would get those points. I like the Sharks, just not all the Sharks.
That's a good point, Landy.
Oh my gosh, guys. Dylan is tied with Donskoy, Timo Meyer, and Chris Tierney with 2 points. Bodker is second in the team with 3. LeBanc leads all Sharks with 4 points, with 3 goals and assists. All right.
Can we talk?
Sorry, that was great.
Can we go around the league for a second? Can we just talk about the inept Canucks power play tonight?
Wait, how many power plays did they get?
7.
And they scored on
0.
Oh, Bo, you poor thing. Come to San Jose.
And in that game, Jaromir Jagr gets his first goal, or it's not goal, got his first point wearing the Flaming Sea.
Nice. Hey, I have a question about Jaromir Jagr real fast. You guys might be able to answer. Did he play in number 68 on all teams he's been in the NHL? Or what were Jagr's numbers throughout his career? Do you guys know?
I'm pretty
all
sure
68.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody had asked me that a couple days ago, and I was like,
well, he's so old he might have actually been around when they invented the number 68. So
there's Roman numerals.
Let's put it this way: when he played in a league, the Sharks had not played their first game yet.
Oh my God.
Yes. All right, so let's go around the league.
Hold on, no. They pointed it out. Hold on. There's a who's the kid? Who's the kid who plays for Calgary? Whose father was like a big hockey name?
Matthew Tkachuk.
Yes. That was it. It was the fact that it was like Jagr's so old that Jagr and Tkachuk were taken in the same draft, and now Jagr is playing on a hockey team with his son.
Yep.
I mean, that's a hockey Jeopardy question right there.
Matt Kachuk is my hero, unless he's
man.
playing the Sharks.
Poor Yager, just one away from 69 all of his life. Son of a bitch.
You don't think he did that on purpose?
Always going for that extra one.
Hey. You remember like the song goes, 68 and I owe you one.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. With that, we'll go.
That's such a mullet
How is
joke,
there,
too.
how is there not a song called like 70 and then I'll like pay you back? You know, or something.
What's the name? Steel Panther might be on that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, geez, Gen X.
And getting back to scores around the league.
Wait, no.
Speaking of Yager.
No, Gen X in the chat. Flaming Sea sounds like something you pick up in Vegas after a long weekend.
Or it sounds okay. We have the Sharkarita. Doesn't the Flaming Sea sound like a drink that they would have that they would serve at the Saddle Dome?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
It should be like a flaming. It can't be a Dr. Pepper with. I don't know what kinds of soda they have.
Well, like, oh, dude, I could totally see that. Like a flaming Dr. Pepper with like cinnamon schnapps. So there's your Flaming Sea.
There you
Oh
go.
my God, Calgary! I'll give you my address. You can just send me the check for that in the mail.
Coming
We
up,
take tickets too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Coming up.
Absolutely.
coming up this week, Teal Town Mixology with Rocket and AJ.
Damn right. We will literally do like 3 minutes of Rocket explaining how to make the proper Sharkarita, because you know what? The Shark Tank, they don't do it right, but Rocket does.
Thank you.
I'm just saying.
Seriously, that should be documented for sure, because
It should.
we all know how popular the Sharkarita is at the tank.
Yes. Can we go around the league, because I want to talk about Patrick Marleau scoring tonight.
All right. Well, that's what I was going to get to. As I was trying to slowly transition and make a great segue, but
No, just rip the Band-Aid off.
yeah, just And your Winnipeg Jets defeat the Carolina Hurricanes 2-1 tonight.
Why did I know you would start with the Jets?
I'm going in order of NHL.com, so shut your pie hole. Skinner with the goal, along with Little and Ellers. Hellebuck with the win there. He's got all 3 wins instead of Chris Mason that they went out and signed in a free agency. In Montreal, the Maple Leafs beat the Canadiens 4-3 in overtime.
And who else is going to get the OT?
Then San Ramon native Austin Matthews, who had 2 goals on the night. And because, just to make sure it hits us home, Patrick Marleau with his 3rd goal of the season on just a little tip in.
And
just
Johnny
got in.
Yeah, and Drew Wynn gets his first one. Tampa Bay already worried.
Yes. And speaking of Tampa Bay, great segue, AJ. The Lightning beat the Blues 2-1 in a nice matchup. Tarasenko with the goal, Kucherov and Johnson with both goals for Tampa Bay as they go to 4-1 on the year. The Sharks are not the only ones that are feeling the heat right now. I think the Rangers are, especially since they lose to the Devils 3-2. Henrique, Wood, and Stafford for the Devils getting goals. Nash picked up his first goal of the season, while Kevin Shattenkirk, made it look close with under a minute to go in the 3rd.
Where was Ronta from?
Ronta came from New York.
That's what I thought. Do you think that they're kind of upset? Do you think the Rangers are upset? That what did they get? I mean, I'm just like, what did the Rangers get for Ronta? Was it significant?
I'll look that up.
I mean, I don't know that Pavelek's going to fill that hole. I fear. Okay, I fear that I might have taken us down the rabbit hole. Let's move on to the beatdown of the night.
Ooh.
I don't want to know what's going on. The Flyers beat the Washington Capitals 8-2.
And not a single hat trick, you assholes.
Wow.
Couturier, Laughlin, Simmons, Giroux, Philpilla, Lawton, Couturier with 2 goals, Giroux with 2 goals, while Vrana and Backstrom, just get a couple of goals, and the Flyers just destroy the Caps 8-2 in Philly.
Flyers are a solid team this year.
They are starting to turn things around. I think they're going to be trying to make some noise in the NBC division.
I'm not a fan of Radko Gudas, but Wayne Simmons is pretty impressive for sure.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Giroux looks like he's starting to find his scoring touch too. In Pittsburgh, the Penguins won a game. Crosby with 2 goals, one on the power play over the Florida Panthers, with Huberdeau getting 2 goals in the game, along with Aaron Ekblad. Reimer was in the nets for the Panthers in that one. Dallas picks up their 2nd win on the year, beating the Colorado Avalanche, who've been off to a very nice start. They lose to Dallas 3-1. Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin bookend the second period with goals, and an empty netter by Lindell caps off a night for Dallas as they go to 2-3 on the year. In Minnesota, the Blue Jackets, formerly known as the Neon Buggers, beat the Wild 5-4 in overtime. Zach Werenski started the scoring early. Wenberg, 47 seconds into overtime, gets the game winner. Tyler Ennis with 2 goals, and Ray Ferraro's son, Landon, gets his first on the year for the Minnesota Wild. In Chicago, another game that went into overtime tonight. Brandon Saad at 3:05 of overtime sends the crowd into a Chelsea dagger frenzy as the Hawks beat the defending Western Conference champions 2-1.
Kneel before Saad.
Fair enough. Rocket, since you're in Nashville, what's been the vibe around the Predators so far this year?
Okay, so the way that hockey fans here in Nashville is that they're all very brand new hockey fans.
Smooth jazz voice, please.
So a lot of the people here think that the hockey team is now destined to make it all the way to the Stanley Cup Final Series every year because they're a legacy team, and once you get there, you never go back down. They've been raucous and loud at all the games that I've seen, and they're a little bit confused as to why they keep getting handed losses when it's just not fair. They really do enjoy that goal song, and they love to drink. AJ?
All I heard was something about going back down and somebody's vibrating.
It's not me.
My phone rang. My apologies.
Yeah, no, you were just enjoying my voice so much you set your phone on vibrate and sent yourself a message, didn't you? You did. You weirdo.
Oh my God. No. I won't even say because it'll make it even more awkward.
This is the new tabs.
Moving onward.
Moving onward.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, more of that. Go ahead.
The Coyotes lose to the Bruins 6.
Desert Dogs. Drink.
The Bruins lose to the Desert Dogs 6-2 tonight. Pasternak got things going for the Bruins. Chara picks up his first of the year. Marchand his third of the year, as Louis Domingue takes the loss for Arizona as they start to do 0-4-1 on the year. In Vancouver, the Flames defeat the Canucks 5-2. As
oh my God, he's ruining it. He's ruining it.
You didn't do a Spanish shorthouse.
Yeah, you had to bring it up.
God damn it. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry.
Brock Besser, his first of the year, they finally took him off the bench and put him into the game for once. Derek Dorsett also scored for Vancouver. Markstrom taking the loss, and trust me, TSN 1040 is already taking calls that they should put in the backup for Tuesday night's game. For Calgary, you had Giordano, Travis Hamonic with his first goal as a Flame. Dougie, show me how to do the Dougie. with 2 goals on the
It's
night.
teach me how to Dougie.
I don't give a crap. Just like the Oilers don't give a crap. They're 1-3 on the year as they lose 6-1 over the Ottawa Senators.
Don't you think that's interesting that Connor McDavid, his only points of the entire season have been
The opening game?
Yeah. Like, who's been watching that tape? And whoever they are on every team definitely gets a raise. Holy moly, to be able to shut that kid down consistently. Good job, every other NHL team in the NHL.
Right.
As opposed to every other NHL team who's not in the NHL.
I will cut you.
No, but say it sexy.
Oh my God. You guys are something else.
I will gut you like a fish.
Yes.
In Los Angeles tonight, the Kings go to 3-0-1 on the year as they defeat the Buffalo Sabres 4-2. Gergensons and Eichel get goals for Buffalo, while the intent to knee injured Dustin Brown gets his 4th on the year on a power play goal to Foley, Doughty. All 3 of them had power play goals, and Tanner Pearson with the empty netter. Quick back to his usual ways as the Kings go to 7 points on the year, while Buffalo was still winless in the 2017-18 campaign.
Yeah, if you chose Buffalo and Arizona early, oh well.
Oh well.
Here's your beer.
And earlier today, the San Jose Barracuda lost a heartbreaker to the San Antonio Rampage, 3-2.
At least they can say they were in that one, because last night they weren't.
No. And they were destroyed by the Grand Rapids Griffins 7-2. Which
Tyler Bertuzzi is a bum. Just wanted to put that in there.
Oh yeah, he's a Bertuzzi, obviously. Which begs this question to both of you, and I'll start with you, Rocket. Did you notice an ice issue tonight with them playing a 3rd game in 24 hours on the ice?
Well, as fast as they were and very zippy in the first period, it looked like they were skating on white indoor-outdoor carpet in the 3rd. I don't know if I can attribute that to the ice conditions so much as just tired legs. So, no, I can't. The pucks seemed to be fine, and everyone just seemed to be a little bit slow, but I attribute that to fatigue and not the conditions on the ice. I think it was fine.
AJ, did you notice anything? You muted yourself again.
Yeah.
So yeah, try to be nice. No, I didn't. Again, I go back to the tried and true that both teams play on the same ice. So it really doesn't matter. Obviously, the better the ice is, hopefully the better the skating, better the game's going to be. The Sharks did, for those of you who are not aware, the Sharks did spend what I've been told is an unconfirmed amount of money. It was reported in the Merc that it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 million, but there was basically over the offseason, there was a ton of money spent to bring in bigger, more dehumidifiers. We all heard about all the equipment that was brought in during the Stanley Cup final run 2 seasons ago. Well, the Sharks made moves over this last offseason to have more of that equipment there all the time and not just for playoffs. So the ice should be a little bit better than we're all used to seeing. Again, I haven't noticed, it doesn't look any worse than it normally does, but conversely, I don't know that it looks any better, but I'm not a player playing on it, so that's obviously a question for the guys that are, have played for regular season games and a couple of preseasons. So, question for them. Maybe that's something we throw to Kurz or something. Have him ask the guys.
Very, very good point there. And so that's the roundup around the league, and a look into the American Hockey League with the Barracuda, as the Barracuda are now 1-2 on the year. They will play again on Wednesday night. So I'm looking at here, and I'm trying to get the info here to get back to it. The Rangers traded Derek Stefan and Antti Ranta to the Arizona Desert Dogs for 21-year-old defenseman Anthony DeAngelo and the number 7 pick in the draft.
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. The who?
The Desert Dogs.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. It was Stefan and Ranta to Arizona, and then Anthony DeAngelo and the number 7 pick overall in the draft, which ended up being, if I can pull it up really quick, maybe. No, I gotta scramble through. Elias Anderson from Sweden. He was the 3rd best skater from Central, according to Central Scouting International.
Well, can we hit a couple questions on the chat?
Go for it. Let's do this.
From James Abel, how about attendance? What was announced number tonight? Now, this is an interesting question because opening night they did announce that it was a sellout. Now, Puckguy and I were at that game. Again, I go back to, you may see empty seats that have actually been paid for, but the people who have those tickets that night just decided not to use them. So technically, it can be a sellout. There's a difference between tickets sold versus tickets scanned. But the interesting thing, I was at the following game against the Kings, and that night, they did not announce the attendance. And the last game versus Buffalo on Thursday, Puckguy was at that game, and you said they did not announce attendance, correct?
Nope, they didn't.
Yeah, so that was interesting. However, I was told by a couple people on a Shark social media site that they did, in fact, announce a sellout tonight. Yet the the many posts that followed that post up had photos of tonight where there were a good amount of banks of empty seats. The one thing I will say, tonight is the first time in the first 4 games of this season that I did see a good amount of people close to the glass tonight. I'm not saying that the BMW lounge has lost its luster, but the seats along the glass were definitely fuller than I've seen them the previous 3 games. But I do go back that I don't know. Let's see what sales are like. You know, Montreal on Tuesday. Montreal, for what I remember, and Eric, you probably are a better barometer than I, but Montreal, as far as I know, has never been like a huge draw around here. It's nothing like Toronto or Detroit. It's done okay.
Yeah, it's done okay. It's nothing like a big one, or as we should say, it's nothing compared to perhaps, say, the Red Wings in Arizona playing the Desert Dogs a couple of nights ago.
I'm sorry, who?
The Desert Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. Very nice. Both of you. Yeah, I don't think that they're that big of a crazy draw, but they are the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh my God, dude. Gen X just had a mic drop moment in the chat. Just like all things BMW, people realize there are better options and that they are overpriced. Ouch.
Well, you know, the truth hurts. That's definitely true.
Oh, and Chris pointing out, though, that 5 years ago I sold my tickets for double when Montreal came to town.
See, I was about to say something the same thing, because I don't remember if it was last season or the season before. I remember being at a Canadiens Les Habitants game at the Tank, and I was sitting lower bowl, and there were plenty of rowdy French Canadians there. There was a guy on the second. He was in the upper bowl, and he was at the balcony, and he was yelling down to his friends, "The Sharks are better!" So, I mean, like, in that accent, and that's a French-Canadian accent, but that does not come from France, nor does it come from the United States. That is a strictly Montreal, Quebecian thing, that accent. And I heard it, and not just from that drunk guy, but several other drunk people in the building. So,
awesome.
Yeah, see, so it's not necessarily popular with, like, the get her done crowd, but there are a small sprinkling of expatriates or perhaps people with, you know, the little fancy visas to work in the Bay Area that they're going to support the Habs and they're going to come out and get drunk. So
Well, and I like Rob Iman in the chat saying the Niners fans haven't been filling Levi's this year either. Well, yeah, because like the first 3 home games were in like 90-degree heat with the sun baking people. I don't care. It could have been like it could have been the 1994 Niners playing the, I don't know, 2007 New York Giants or something on that field. I'm not going to sit at Levi's when it's 92 degrees outside and the sun is baking on me, especially when I have red zone and Sunday ticket at home. Just not going to do it.
Completely agree. I did it one time for the first ever game there, and I'm like, that's cool. I might do night games, but you know what? Whatever. That's Niners. We're talking football, AJ. Come on now.
I know. I'm sorry. I know Gen X probably is already logged off the chat. We'll do Niners After Dark after this show tonight.
Don't forget CFL After Dark after that.
Yes, there's that. But the Niners are playing tomorrow, so we'll cover that immediately after this show tonight. In between Saturday Night Live. So look forward to that. Oops. The one thing that I always bitch about them is to not bang the mic, and I just bang my mic.
What you do in your free time is your business.
That's all I'm saying. In fact, I'm gonna change my avatar or my handle to that. I'm going to be at Bang the Mic. I think that would be cool. What do we expect on Tuesday versus Montreal? Are we good? Do you think? Because we know that DeBoer is a creature of habit. Everything kind of went sideways the first 3 games. He switches up some lines and everything. Then they get, they get that win on the 3rd game. And so he keeps that for the 4th game. Now they take a loss. What changes? Obviously, we're going to see Jones and net on Tuesday. That's a given. What do you think the line combinations are? And do you think that we'll see any changes? I mean, is Ward come back? Even though it looked, from what Kevin Kurz said, it's like he might be kind of nursing a little bit of a shoulder thing. You're not sure. But does Ward come back? Do we see a different Barracuda player called up? Does Carpenter get set down? Does Hurdle go back to center? I mean, what do you think, Puckguy?
I don't think there's going to be too much because unlike the last between LA and Buffalo, you had 4 or 5 days off to kind of change things around. You saw a noticeable difference. Here, the guys, I'm sure they're going to get a full day off tomorrow. They'll have practice on Monday. They'll have their morning skin on Tuesday. I can't see them doing too much. Maybe one of the guys gets back in there. Maybe Wardo gets back in there. But, it's tough to tell, and that's the thing with the early season. You can't tell the trends that PDB is going through, in my opinion.
Rock?
What are you asking?
What changes do you think, if any, with the line combinations, anybody do you think is going to sit on Tuesday that did not sit tonight, and anybody gets called up? I mean, what changes do you foresee happening between now and Tuesday night?
Man, I don't know. Pete DeBoer could get hit by a truck full of turkeys, go into a coma, come out of it, and be like, you know what? I've been completely wrong, and this is what we're going to do. And cue the A-Team music, and then something cool happens. I don't know. That's the beauty about this sport. Here's what I hope is going to happen. I hope he has a little bit more faith and gives Timo Meyer more ice time. I think that this lineup of young kids and grizzled veterans could use a little bit more of a physical presence. And I'm not saying they need an enforcer. What they need is, oh God, I hate to say this, but it was more like, that whole Torres thing with, he plays with an edge, he plays with a grit. As long as he's not headhunting, he's fine. So far, Timo Meyer his game has gotten more responsible. He still makes kind of edgy plays, but they're not retaliatory, and they're definitely not ugly and out of control. So he's got all of the lights are turning green for this kid, and I want Pete to let him go. Give him the ice and stop relying on the old guys, on the veterans who I think in order for this team to buy into Pete DeBoer's system, Pete needs to trust this team. And the way that he's playing the guys right now is that he does not trust the youth movement still. And it's not a good look. If you're coaching and you want to sell a system, but then the people you're selling a system to, you're like, I don't really believe in you guys, but here's what we're going to do. Really, bud? Because that's not going to work. It doesn't work with me. So that's what I want. I want Pete to trust this team for good or for bad. He needs to trust every single person in the locker room equally.
I would agree.
Yeah, and so knowing what I know about Pete, he won't do that. He'll continue to try to do that at the least possible option. He will do the line blender. He'll sit the wrong guys. He'll put the wrong combinations out in order to make mismatches with the other team, but absolutely no chemistry on this side of the line. I think Pete's he's going to have the wrong vision because he has the wrong idea about this team. So he's going to continue to make missteps with it until he realizes that he needs to make an honest assessment of what's in front of him instead of just ignoring the things that he doesn't like.
Gotcha. We're only 4 games in, but we are on the 3rd year of PDB's 3-year coaching deal. Does he get a fourth year?
I think it remains to be seen. I don't know if it's just.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you had to make the call now.
I think if knowing Doug Wilson, I think he does. I think he gets a 2-year extension.
Rocket? Okay. I would buy that. Before we wrap this up, can we just talk about the Gila monster in the room for a second? For those of you who don't know,
oh gosh, do you have a
Las Vegas? Get it up there, Eric.
The monster.
Las Vegas unveiled their mascot tonight, which can only be described as a cross between Barney the purple dinosaur and the Thing from the Fantastic Four. That's like the only way you can describe what that thing is. There was somebody, I don't know if it was I think it was Bring Hockey Back. And if you'd like a Teal Town USA shirt, by all means visit bringhockeyback.com. He said it was something like Barney had gone to Vegas for a week on a bender and finished off with a 2-day straight of hitting the meth pipe. And here you go. Here's what Vegas thinks passes for a mascot in the NHL. I mean, holy hell, people. And what's funny is I've actually heard a couple people mention that they have another mascot like in their back pocket they're going to unveil later. I don't know. I'm assuming. One of the funniest tweets that I saw was the Vegas Knights mascot should be, and there were 3 check boxes. And one was like from Vegas to God, I wish I could remember what it was, but it was great. But the third one was be a knight, and clearly that box was not checked. So
I like it. You guys, I just dig it. I dig it the most. It's creepy and weird, and it's 100% NHL. Like, it's just so creepy and weird. I love him. I love it.
Now, see, as a produce guy, I look at the head of Chance, and I swear it looks like it's a cut-up piece of a mango.
Yeah, you're not the only person that said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, how long has Vegas had to put together and this is what they decided on? Like, a Gila monster?
Wait. So you said they had another one that they might bust out. So
that's what I've heard.
So does this mean that Chance is a placeholder mascot?
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
you know what?
On Rocket.
You know what, Rock? There's a chance he could be.
Quite possibly.
No, not as funny. Okay. Anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens. I just don't understand how it's not like a knight, or something along those lines. And how cool would that be? Where it's just like a knight's helmet, and the V from the knight is blacked out, and that's how the mascot sees, but it's completely black and everything like that. And he just, I don't know, walks around constantly poking people with his sword. No.
Yeah, but then everybody's just going to go like, it's a flesh wound. It's a flesh wound. You're a loony. Come on, see the line, man. Say it. The Black Knight always prevails. Except when we hand you your ass. Like, really? Like, no, that's not going to play out, bud. That's not going to be a good
I don't know what movie she was quoting, but it certainly wasn't the same one that said, "Where the white women at?" It wasn't the same one.
I hope not. And with that, if you've missed anything from tonight's show or want to hear it again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube. Of course, AJ and Hockey Jerk totally were making fun of me with the Jersey jargon, and little did they know I actually put together a show of Jersey jargon with Chris Kramer, who runs sportslogos.net. So definitely check that out.
Hold on, dude, like not even being, I'm like trying to be serious here. Chris, I love you, bro. You got to retract that last message, man. I love you, man, but please retract that last minute. And I'm the hardest person on the planet to offend, and I'm not offended by what you said, but I think other people might be, so please retract that.
And with that, jeez, M. Hackle.
I like that. Good name for a mascot, Nighty McNighty Face.
Yeah.
I think Billy Squire would have been a good mascot for the Vegas Knights.
Well, Janice does bring up a point. Hell, explain Victory Green in Dallas. Can't.
Well, yeah, no, you got me on that. I mean, at least I can understand the name, but for the longest time, Dallas played, it was like forest green. You know, they had that deeper green, which I actually think was better. It was just a few. Was it when they switched to the edge that they changed to that brighter green, when was that?
It was just a couple years ago that they changed it.
It was like when the Sharks went next wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Actually, yeah. I thought that was a bad play for Dallas. I thought that brighter green was not good.
See, I kind of like it because it kind of offsets the black.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I just realized we've gone into episode 2 of Jersey Jargon. Oh, Jesus.
Thank you for joining us on episode 2 of Jersey Jargon.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to keep my low, subtle jazz voice.
Yes.
You're listening to KKSF. Coming up next, it's the Kenny G Show. Right here on 103.7 KKSF.
The Quiet Storm.
Oh, and can we all just like pour one out? Like everybody just kind of pour one out, just, you know.
Right,
for Eric. Holla! Going on IR. Going on the IR. Let's just all pour one out for Holla!
You poor thing.
You have no idea.
The Golden Knights are now doomed. We'll be keeping an eye on that.
I'm just saying.
All right, with that...
Hold on. I like KM. I want Rocket whispering me box scores as I fall asleep.
I should do that. I should put out a video every night and just read the NHL scores.
Are you so, like fucking 2 minutes? You're like,
okay.
And so tonight, Vancouver won 6-2 over Calgary.
Okay.
Wow.
Wait,
Vancouver. Yeah.
I'll do this tomorrow. I'll do this tomorrow night.
Can we get a preview? Can we get a quick preview right now?
Hold on, let me get the box scores for tonight. You guys keep talking. Let me.
Well, I mean, you know, tonight the Sharks lost 3-1.
Yeah, the Sharks lost 3-1 to the Islanders at home. I don't really want to talk about it. It's kind of a painful loss.
Okay, she can't be sexy when it's about her favorite team.
Yeah, exactly. That just hurts.
If anything, she just sounds like a woman who has like smoked for 40 years and drank a lot of bourbon.
So the Sharks lost tonight against the Islanders, and I'm not happy about it at all. It's very painful. It's like my sciatic. Okay.
The Hurricanes lose 1 to the Jets, 1-2. Maple Leafs drop to the Canadiens. I'm sorry, the Maple Leafs over the Canadiens in overtime, 4-3. Blues lose to the Lightning, 1-2. Devils win over the Rangers, 3-2. Capitals lose to the Flyers 2-8. The Panthers lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-2. The Colorado Avalanche lose to the Dallas Stars 3.
See, the best thing about that is that as she was getting, that's what she has to do, but she has to start it from the top of the scores and work all the way down, and her voice literally gets softer and softer and softer and softer, going through all the games. So where literally the last game that she goes off, and the Sharks lose 3-1, like just all the way into. There you go.
But if they win, I get to say it the first. It's the first score I read.
Yeah.
Right.
And Gen X already typing snores.
Whatever. All right. Final thoughts, Mr. Strong.
Hey, now. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AJ_Strong. We had technical difficulties last week with the Pucknologist, but don't worry. We straightened them all out. We'll have a new one for you this week. There you go. Hope we can get a win over Montreal.
All righty. Miss Backhander.
My final thoughts. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Bruins take on the Golden Knights. And 9 p.m. Eastern, the Sabres take on the Ducks. And at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, the Islanders take on the Los Angeles Kings. Eric?
Thank you so much, Rocket. All right. Make sure you subscribe down below or hit it to the side. Make sure you hit up tealtownusa.com for all your thoughts, needs, wants of Sharks hockey podcasting galore and some writing excellence. And with that, I leave you with something to be a little, make you get over the loss a little bit, right, Sharky? Yeah. So on behalf of myself, AJ, Rocket, and Sharky, who's dead tired and wants to go to bed, go ahead, there you go. You have a good night and keep it real, keep it teal, keep it. Wait, I shouldn't be saying this. Rocket, you should be saying this.
And before she does, do us a favor. Smash that subscribe button, baby. We need to build this up just a scotch more. Just a scotch. So if you could hit that subscribe button, we'd appreciate it. Rocket?
My name is Rocket Backhander, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of all of us here at Teal Town USA, I'm asking you to keep it teal. Keep it real. Keep it real, Teal. I'll see you next time.